Hey there, I'm Jo Pronger Boone, and I publish using my maiden name, Jo Pronger Faulkner. I'm here today with Lindsay Malkinson to talk about our book collaboration called Absolute Vision, which was released in December 2022. Welcome, Lindsay.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad you're here too. So, for those who might not know, this is the second collaboration in the Absolute series, and I'm thrilled with the stories in this book, as well as our incredible rankings on Amazon since its release. We have 21 authors in this book: Lindsay, me, and 19 other amazing men and women from 6 countries around the world. Our authors are from Canada, the United States, South Africa, the United Kingdom, Nicaragua, and Bulgaria, and we teamed up to share our motivational, personal, true stories of achieving our vision and intentionally creating an extraordinary life against all odds. This book has only been out for about a month now, and we have racked up 55 #1 rankings on Amazon. It's been quite the joyride so far for our authors. We've ranked as #1 bestseller in 10 categories in Canada and the US, and #1 new release in 45 categories in Canada, the US, and the Netherlands. We also got 2 of the coveted orange Amazon bestseller badges, which are really hard to get. Now, many of the men and women in this book have never published anything before and can now call themselves international best-selling authors. And this book was created as an epic fundraiser too. 100% of the profits from the author entry fees to be in the book and 100% of the royalties from the sales during our launch are going towards a project my husband Mike and I are doing. We are building a house for a family in Nicaragua who didn't have a home of their own. And we actually went to Nicaragua in January of 2022 to break ground on this life-changing project. And as of right now, 1 year later, the house is about 2/3 of the way completed. This book is self-published and self-promoted by all of our authors, not done through a traditional publisher and without any paid advertising. It's been an organic, grassroots effort, which makes what we've done with it so far all the more amazing. The reviews on this book say that the stories are incredibly inspiring. The stories demonstrate absolutely astounding vision. They are awe-inspiring, full of hope. They show how to achieve in light of challenges, and this is a must read. Those are all direct quotes from reviews on Amazon. Lindsay's chapter is called A Different Spin, chapter 10 in Absolute Vision. Thanks for being here, Lindsay.
Thank you for having me.
So can you tell everyone a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what your chapter in Absolute Vision is about?
Yes. So my name is Lindsay and I am 23 years old. I am a dog mom and I am also a Young Living distributor. I graduated from Grand Forks, BC with a Dogwood certificate in 2017. I now currently reside in Vernon, BC, and I was raised in Houston, BC, and at the end of grade 10, I moved to Grand Forks, and I now live in Vernon, BC. My chapter in Absolute Vision is about how I changed my mindset from poor me to how can I be an inspiration to others. I was diagnosed with autism in grade 6, and I was actually misdiagnosed a few times because it wasn't as common as it is today.
And I just love your chapter. I think that you really, bring a lot to light for people. And I just love the fact that you're, vulnerably sharing your chapter and spreading your message. And I love, love, love your perspective as well. The poor me to being an inspiration to others, I think is so needed and so appreciated.
Thank you. And yes, I always looked at my autism when I was diagnosed as a sad thing, but over the years, I've grown to be proud of who I am, and it's really helped me get out of my shell.
That's amazing. So when you first found out about this collaboration, what made you decide to join in?
I decided to join the Absolute Vision book collaboration because I love giving back, and when I found out that the proceeds were going back to a family in Nicaragua who didn't have a home of their own, I just knew I had a story to share, so I had to share it. And I love that the proceeds from the book, from everyone that purchased the book, and also the proceeds to get into the book, are going to Nicaragua to help a family in need.
That's awesome. So now writing brings out different experiences for different people. Did you find writing to be a pleasant experience or more difficult than you'd imagined?
I actually started writing my chapter in grade 9, and so, it was actually hard for me, but I had it all written out and I had to change a few things, but I did find it quite difficult just because writing is it comes easier to me than reading, but, it's still hard for me to get my words from pen to paper.
That's incredible that you were writing your chapter, already so long ago. That's amazing. So did
I
anything
always I always knew I wanted to be a published author.
That's awesome. Now, did anything surprise you about writing your chapter?
I think what surprised me was that it was hard for me to get my thoughts out, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, that's good. So it wasn't too difficult then. You kind of
No,
That's good because some people do have quite a hard time, and for you as well, like trying to express what people need to hear, I think is really important. And you did such a great job with that in your chapter. I just love how you've written it, and I love your perspective.
thank you.
So, based on this experience in Absolute Vision, do you think that you'll want to write your whole, like an entire full book in the future, or maybe be in another collaboration at some point?
I'd love to be in another collaboration because it was so much fun, and I would love to update people on how far I've come because I've already come so far, but I want to talk about how much farther I can go.
That's awesome. So, what's your top piece of advice for someone who might be thinking that they might want to become a published author?
My top piece of advice for someone that might want to become a published author is to write from the heart. And it should make you emotional because for me, I'm so proud of how far I've come that my emotions were really poured into the story I wrote because it really was from my heart.
I love that. And I think that, a lot of authors are surprised by that. They think, oh, it's going to be easy. It's just one chapter. And then when you kind of get into it and you start digging down into those feelings, and you really want to bring those feelings out onto paper, right? So that the readers really understand where you're coming from. It can be a bit more tricky, I think, than some people realize. But you did such a great job with it. I just love your chapter.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So, what else are you doing and what's next for you?
My plans for the future are to become, um, well, for sure, I would love to continue to be an advocate for people on the autism spectrum. I also plan on getting my N, which is the second part in the graduated licensing program. I was so nervous to get it when I was younger, but now I've been working so hard, and I would love to be able to have my driver's license. And I also am continuing to work on my Young Living business because I love helping people and I love helping them with their health and wellness. And I also love helping people by being an advocate for those on the autism spectrum.
That's amazing. And for those who would love to connect with you, can you please share your website or social media or how else they can get in touch with you?
Yes, I also have an Instagram page and a Facebook page. My Instagram page is Inspiring Essentials, and my Facebook pages are Inspiring Essentials as well as Positivity Around Life on the Autism Spectrum. I also have an email, and that is lindsay.malkinson@gmail.com.
And I've been following your posts on social media, and I just love your positivity as well as the education that you share around autism. I think it's so valuable, and you just have a way of being relatable and positive. I just love it.
Thank you.
Lindsay, your message is incredibly inspiring, and the way that you've written your chapter, I think is relatable to anyone who's ever felt like they didn't fit in. I'm honored that you shared your story in this collaboration, and thank you for your time today.
Thank you. I'm so glad I could be here today.